Hello, everybody.
Wait, Corbin, wait. You forgot to ask us if we're ready to start, even though we're already ready to start.
Woo! DJ, are you ready to start?
Yep.
Jason, are you ready to start? All right, perfect. We are starting then. Welcome, everybody, to Brainstorm Brewery, the one podcast that will not cancel your order, send you an uncut sheet.
No, they'll just send you blank and empty envelopes full of nothing instead of Patreon rewards.
Well, I'll say this.
How do you do that?
I don't know, man. Blame the help I got for that one.
Hey, I wasn't blaming him for sending them late. I was blaming him for sending something empty. It's different.
That's a completely legitimate complaint. But it wasn't me. It was just the help I enlisted, so blame them. That said, all the Patreon rewards have been shipped out. So if
that's what I thought. I shipped everything on the sheet, and then some dude's like, "I didn't get my stuff."
Well, that's what I'm saying here.
So blame the intern who just quit.
We're shipping out the named flasks. So I've shipped out every named flask I could find. So if you believe that tier applied to you and you don't have one within, say, the next couple weeks, allowing for international shipping, or if you're domestic and still don't have yours within the next couple weeks, let us know, because it means something went wrong somewhere. And we'll get it taken care of.
Also, we're going to do a bunch of new merch, and we're just going to send something out to the $20 patrons every couple of months, a new thing. So,
yeah, we got to figure out how to get some value back in there for you guys who all have your classes. Encourage people to
stay at the $20 value, because you get the after hours. It's the best tier if you want the most stuff, but it's sort of like, I got my glasses, why would I stay at 20? We'll come up with reasons for you to stay at 20. For those who don't know what we're talking about patreon.com/brainstormbrewery, where for as little as 20 or 25 cents an episode, you can have access to our Discord server where you can tell us, hey, you sent me an empty envelope, you stupid idiot.
And these two people are Jason Alt and Corbin Hostler, and I am DJ Johnson, back from MtGMadison.
This is episode 600 of this podcast.
How was hashtag MtGMadison?
Madison is great. Wisconsin is in my top 3 states I've visited so far now. And
which I guess you can listen to on the after hours.
That was the second time I've been. Well, I've got another event in Madison that put it on the top 2. So I think it was Saturday morning. We decided to order breakfast for the crew, as we normally do. We use Uber Eats or DoorDash or Grubhub or some sort of delivery service. And we're filling out the breakfast sandwiches, getting everyone's orders in. And then Keith spots a cinnamon roll on the menu, and he's like, you know what? It's $5. Let's buy it. Let's split it between 2 people or whatever. It's just something nice, something sugary, sort of Wisconsin product.
Get a treat, man.
Yeah. And it arrives, and we have these styrofoam tubs of food with sandwiches in them. And then there's one last tub containing the cinnamon roll, and it's very heavy. And those of you watching the YouTube channel will be able to see how ridiculously oversized the cinnamon roll was. But it probably could have fed us for the entire weekend.
Did you keep the cinnamon roll? Is that why you're showing it to us?
What? No, I'm gonna post. I posted a tweet of it, and I'm gonna post that picture in the video. And Jamie,
I understand.
I understand. With the power of I didn't. What? You thought I flew home with a 12-inch diameter cinnamon roll, the size of a medium-sized pizza?
Look, you're talking about how big it is and how it's going to feed a family of 4 or something. So I thought you were taking it home.
It was very delicious. No, I'm not that greedy. It was very delicious. It was probably 6,000 calories for each of us, and it was extremely good. And just another check mark on the reasons Wisconsin is one of my top 3 favorite states to visit.
I can't say I've ever had a strong impression left by Wisconsin, but I'm glad somebody liked it.
I left my personal safety and information in the hands of Wisconsin strangers twice, and both times I was validated for it. So
that's your bar for a state, is after taking unnecessary and dangerous risks. If it works out, it's a good state. What if it doesn't?
Then it's a bad state.
You blame the state of Wisconsin and not the fact that you left your Canadian Highlander deck just sitting alone in the airport.
I don't blame the city of Toronto for my car. It's just
the city of Toronto didn't leave the keys in the ignition.
I don't you don't blame Toronto for something that happened in Toronto, but you do credit Wisconsin for something that happened in Wisconsin.
Well, it was the people of Wisconsin that helped out.
Okay, I understand.
There was nobody in Toronto that destroyed my car.
Okay, I understand.
Well, there was. His name was Douglas Johnson.
Yeah, it was you, buddy. All right. Moving on. We got some news, some updates regarding the Mythic editions that I believe we all got canceled orders on.
Nope, mine came through.
Wow, DJ got one. Lucky you.
I got one, and then they shipped on Tuesday or Wednesday, I think, and then they got at my house on this past Friday, and then Emily shipped them out to the customers while I was gone in Madison.
Nice. I thought I was going to get one since I had the confirmation email and all that, but
yeah, I sure got a confirmation email.
Yep, but we are not getting them. But what we are getting is an uncut foil sheet of War of the Spark, the rare and mythics, I guess. Now you can say what you want. I guess these are selling anywhere between like 150, 250 online right now, pre-selling. I'm going to get it framed, I think. So this is still going to end up costing me money. I'm just going to end up with a War of the Spark sheet.
Just don't let the framing company hold your money in escrow for between 2 to 3 weeks.
True.
If you go to BCW, they actually have a top loader. This is absolutely 100% true. They have a top loader that is big enough for an uncut sheet. It's poster size.
That's pretty funny.
And you can drop it in there. Yep, but don't put tape on the top, or if you do, have a loop so you can...
Oh, didn't know that was a thing.
It'll be kind of put it in a perfect fit before you jam it in the top.
Yes,
it'll be kind of cool to put
cartoon tape and some.
Yeah, it'll be cool to put it up in my office, but like, it's just funny. This is now going to become like the most common collectible in Magic.
Like, it'd be a cool thing to have.
Accessory,
and
you know.
Some people are getting it cut into usable cards, and some people are trying to do NFC miscuts. Mm-hmm. NFC referring to non-factory cut. There are two kinds of miscuts. There are the people that cut up a sheet and they're like, "Wow, look, there's all 4 corners here," and you know, those are usually pretty obvious. The people in the miscut groups on Facebook will be able to give you a rundown on how you can tell if something's NFC or FC. But it turns out that there are contractors that will just for like $200, they'll cut it up how you want. So if you find out how to do that, we'll talk about that in the Discord, which you can have access to by going to patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery and giving us $1 a month. We'll talk about how to get your sheet cut up in the Discord. That's something I don't know offhand right now, but I will get the people that information.
Yeah, I do think we might be planning a brain bite as well coming up with the NFC, the alternative miscuts that people like to play with. So yeah,
I'm putting it up on my wall, goofy miscuts in your EDH deck, and you want something out of your sheet cut weird with like a different name at the top of it, or like 4 corners, with some other cards. It'll take some planning, but
yeah, the rule is for a card to be tournament legal, it has to have the name and the mana, box, power, toughness, all visible, I believe. But what that leaves is a lot of room, especially vertically, to get the bottom or top of other cards involved. And those I have a friend who plays multiple NFCs in his as commanders.
One of the other issues is that the card has to be recognizable as the card you're trying to present it as, so you can't just have like the name and the mana cost of a card at the very bottom, have an entire part of another card on top, and then be like, oh, this is Gideon Blackblade, when it's actually something else.
Well, I think it's a weird gray area. I would play that kind of stuff in EDH or like sell it, because that stuff, is real valuable for the factory miscut stuff anyway.
Yeah, the factory miscut stuff's all really cool. The NFC's
I have a Commander Sphere that's technically a Midnight Haunting, because at the very bottom of the card it has the name Midnight Haunting and the mana cost of Midnight Haunting, but the rest of the card is a Commander Sphere without Commander Sphere and its mana cost visible. But I'm just going to play it as a sphere in my EDH deck. I don't really care what the rules are on that sort of thing. It's just just for goofins. So we'll have that
that sounds really cool, actually.
We'll have that information for you on like what to do with your sheet, because I know a lot of our listeners are going to get a foil sheet, and it was like, hey, what do we do with it? So that's nothing we're going to be able to talk about today, but we'll have a brain bite in the future and some Discord info. So
all right, let's move on to Breaking Bulk, the game every week where we try to guess each other's bulk.
Breaking Bulk time. Breaking Bulk time. Break.
Oh yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking Bulk. The end.
Who wants to go first?
Dark Steel, Black Common.
Dark Steel. Echoing Decay?
Yep. Pretty easy one.
Nice. Yeah, not too many non-artifact spells in that block. So
yeah, the echoing cycle is very powerful. Echoing Truth has gotten to the point where it's even seen main board play in, things like Arc Like Phoenix decks or against Arc Like Phoenix decks. Randomly a nice cycle.
Actually, I used to use Echoing Truth. If they had like 2 or 3 troll ascetics, I would bounce my own troll ascetic to bounce theirs also, because that was the only way you could deal with it. They got like equipment on it.
That's the most casually like mid 2000s Magic story I've ever heard. I had to Echoing Truth my own. What is that card called? What's it called?
Echoing what? Troll Aesthetic?
Troll Aesthetic. I had to Echoing Truth my own Troll Aesthetic. I haven't seen that card played in freaking 8 years or something, man. That's awesome.
He had 2 troll ascetics, and one of them had a GT and the other one had a Sword of Fire and Ice, and he swung at me. I bounced my own troll. He's like, you can't target them. I'm like, I'm targeting mine. They have the same name.
That's good. That's a nice trick. All right, I've got a recent one for you guys. I've got a Guilds of Ravnica blue uncommon.
Is it Guild Summit?
It is Guild Summit. So Guilds of Ravnica, by the way, guys, actually not bad for breaking bulk. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards worth 50 cents or more.
Ooh.
At common or uncommon. Guild Summit's actually midway through the list. It's about 75. It's actually exactly 69 cents median right now. So
nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
It's worth more than
nice
half
pick.
the rares in guilds.
Yeah.
Gate stuff.
Yep. Gate.
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean that's what it is. Circuitous. I can't say that word. Circuitous Roots, of course, being the standout and the one that's going to be a standout for a long time.
Well,
it's already over
Roots
$1.
is it's like a better explosive vegetation.
Yeah, it's just insane. All right, Jason, what you got?
Are you gonna guess it in 2 seconds?
Maybe.
Born of the Gods uncommon creature.
What color?
Archetype of whatever color you're about to say.
It's not monocolored.
Kiora's follower.
See, this game sucks now.
It sucked this week.
I should have told you the card number in the set, but you're like, oh, that's
card
my number, but it's gold. Like, here we're gonna do Kiora's follower. Kiora's follower is gonna go in Niv Mizzet decks. It's very good. Kiora's follower, it's, I don't know, like a lot of the times it's a bird of paradise.
Yeah, you're missing the most important thing though.
What's
about
that?
About the card?
Oh, it's a 2/2 when a bird of paradise is a 0/1. I get what you're going.
No,
for.
that's not what I was going for.
But like when you play Niv Mizzet, it's blue and green, so it's one of the color pairs. So like you could potentially draw 10 cards playing that Niv Mizzet.
It's drawn by Eric Deschamps, which is pretty important too.
That's, It's pretty good in tribal decks, I think.
Well,
I don't see it.
Yeah.
Well, okay then. Maybe
what tribe is it, Corbin?
It's a merfolk.
Speaking of merfolk, when we get to $3,000 at our Patreon at patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery, Corbin Hostler is going to have to dress up like a merfolk, and then he will drown because he will be in a giant foam costume in a body of water, and he may die. So,
drowning.
If you want to see that, as
I
much
don't
as
know
me,
that it's going to be. It might be better quality than foam. Right?
You might want to consider bumping up from $5 or $10 to 20 because we have after hours coming out way more regularly, and we're going to giving people more prizes at that $20 level. We're going to send you something every 3 months that's Brainstorm Brewery branded, from our flasks to our mugs to new stuff we got coming out. It'll be a good time, and seeing Corbin almost die will be a good time also.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
What?
Am I playing a tournament in this as well? Playing
Yes.
a tournament and then swimming? Is that the plan?
Sure.
Y'all better hope we hit it this summer then.
No, don't.
He's cutting a hole in the ice, splashing around.
I'd have to find an indoor pool.
That'll let you walk in as a strange creature.
Yes, I agree. It's that or go to a cold lake or something.
That's fine.
That's not fine. It's not fine.
It's a polar bear swim. Do it. So, we're just coming up with new and wacky ways to keep you guys interested. Thanks so much for supporting us.
All right, so we're going to move on pretty soon here. We're going to do a big dump of emails today. including a from the Vault email or two. But
yeah, that's another Patreon perk. We'll read your email if you're a patron. So
how generous of us.
That's the least we can do, right?
But we wanted to touch on the MPL drama this week. We've seen now, is it two players removed, 3 players removed?
Two players removed and one player remove himself.
Yes. So 2 players have been removed. 1 player has removed themselves. It's opened up 3 slots. The first one was filled by Autumn Burchett. Everyone seemed pretty content with that. They won the Mythic Championship, had the most pro points at the time. Made sense. So these next 2 slots, they completely changed their criteria. They didn't have the winner of the last Mythic Championship. They chose people based on other criteria, and that has upset a lot of people who around the internet who feel like maybe it doesn't represent what they thought the MPL should be, and they're also adding 16 basically promotional
slots.
Promotional slots at the arena Mythic Championships, and that's upset a lot of people because it's no one really cared, at a 400-person Mythic Championship. If you give away a handful of extra invites, no one really cares about that, right? It's I think I saw the math someone posted. It was 2% of the field.
Yep.
And they're saying that it's going to be more like a quarter of the field for the Mythic Championships for arenas. So, that's what's going around the internet. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and try to talk about Wizards' motivations or anything like that because I have no idea. But that is what's going on around the internet, and people are upset about it. It's a big deal. What do you guys think?
I think representation
Magic is dead. 2019
right?
to 2019.
Representation's fine, but I also think you can use your discretionary spots to put more representatives of groups that aren't straight cis white dudes, and I think that's fine. Or you can take all the prize support basically in Magic and put it all at the top and be like, we have a $10 million tournament series, and by the way, if you win like an MCQ, you don't get a plane ticket anymore. And like they've basically,
well, that's another thing, but yeah,
they funneled all the money to the top to be like, look at our big old tournament series.
Yeah, they did.
So you can do one of those things, but if you do both, it's really terrible, I think, because if you're not having the best players able to qualify for the MPL by like grinding and being the best.
Well, I think the issue is that
then you shouldn't have all the money at the top.
Yeah, well, I understand what you're saying, and I agree. I think
I either one of those things on their own is fine.
Well, yeah. So what you're saying is that Wizards shouldn't try to do both. Where right now people, at least in theory, will be able to grind into the MPL or to a Mythic Championship, and those people, the people who that falls into, which does represent a lot of the Twitter community of Magic Twitter, because it's a lot of competitive and semi-competitive players and pros, and they are the ones being punished by this. But I want to point out that the people who this may be meaningful to aren't going to be as vocal on the internet.
So yeah, exactly, because they don't want to get piled on. I think when they were giving people Pro Tour invites, people still bitched. But like we just ignored them because it's like, whatever, shut up. But now there's such a huge difference between being in the MPL and being like a gold level pro. Like
right. Well, because gold level pros don't exist anymore. They got destroyed.
There's such a small percentage, in between the people who are out of the MPL and the people who are in there. Right. There are hundreds of pros right now who are like, less than a percentage point away from qualifying. Right. But they all got skipped, and like the difference in money is huge. I think Ari Lax had the best take on it. If you go and find Ari's tweet, which we'll try to link in the show notes, he wrote a blog post about it that I agreed with. It was real level-headed, and I don't think that the choices they made for the people to replace the empty spots in the MPL were bad choices. I just think you can't make discretionary picks like that and also have there be such a huge disparity between being in the MPL and being out.
Well, I think the one that is particularly has particularly upset controversial, that has upset people, is picking people for their streaming numbers. I think that's the one that there's no justification. There's a very simple business justification for it, but it's so far removed from a lot of what people
they said
think.
The MPL was about. if you want to have a tournament series where you're like, here's the best streamers and like we got a big prize pool and people are going to watch it, like that'd be great. But like, don't have that be the MPL. Just do two different things.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go full disclosure here and say that I've never actually announced this publicly. I was planning on doing it pretty soon. But if this podcast comes out, it'll be here first. I'm involved with the MPL. I'm one of the correspondents. I'm working largely on the back end to help kind of.
Oh, so this is
craft.
your fault.
It's my job to help with the matches that are worth watching. And I'm really enjoying that, and it's awesome, and it's really nice to be involved. So while we're talking about the NBL here, I want to announce that because I'm excited about it. Kind of awkward that this is here I am like, oh, I got this job working with the NPL. I'm really excited to be involved, and of course, everyone hates the NPL this week or whatever, right? So it's kind of awkward. And obviously, I have no understanding or part of any of these decisions or conversations or any of this stuff.
Enough people already hate you.
But
enough people already hate you that it shouldn't be that much of a change.
Fair. I mean, that's fair.
Because they hate Wizards, and then they hate you, and then they find out you work for Wizards. Like, oh, I double hate that dude, and there's not much you can do about that.
I work with Wizards. I don't work for Wizards, and it is an important distinction. All right, let's move on. I agree with Jason though. Ari Lax had a great take on it. Let's move on. Let's do some emails. We got some emails playing for the last half of the show here. New emails, old emails. Take your pick. DJ, what's the first one?
Old emails.
Old emails is first. Okay, let me bust out my computer.
Just because I wanted to see if you were ready.
Yep, he's not. There's a segment called From the Vault Emails where we read emails from a long time ago that Corbin just was supposed to have read on the cast and did get around to.
No.
And now they're super old and dated from like 2014, and it's really hilarious to read them now.
No. What happened, the reason they were never read in the first place is because some of the people I podcasted with, some of them were named Jason Alt, said we hate emails, never do emails. So I saved the emails.
That sounds incorrect.
That sounds like lies. Lies and slander. Corbin is a stupid fucking idiot. This is the segment all about how Corbin didn't read your emails and he got blown out. So if you transcribed a set review, too fucking bad for you.
Alright, onward.
From the vault. If we didn't read your email, don't blame Jason Alt.
The shingles on the roof.
Alright, while Corbin is floundering.
Alright, no, I'm ready to go, man. Okay. I'm ready to go. I've got one
right.
here from June 17th.
What year?
It should be right there.
My email, hold up. I logged into my email and then my email kicked me out. All right, I'm back.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. All right, this email came to us from Rhett Sorensen on June 17th, 2014. That is...
he's my grandson from the future.
Years. That is 5 years. Okay. Just wanted to give you guys some feedback. I don't even know what this is to say about it. I'm reading this blunt here.
Just read it, man.
Just wanted to give you guys some feedback. First off, I'm a fan of the podcast, and I liked how you guys structured 101 for the most part. I also like how you guys went over some of the basic terms and aspects of the MTG Finance game. He's referring to Finance 101, which is a segment we used to do.
And we should probably still do.
No.
Maybe. I don't know. Let us know what you think, everybody. What it was is we would basically take a term or... something that, we kind of talk about or refer to in passing a lot on the cast and just take it as a given. What we would do is we kind of take one and define it each week and spend 5 minutes talking about it. The issue is that it was helpful to a lot of people and it helps people catch up. The only problem with it was hard to find great topics and it was hard to figure out what was 101 and what was just part of the podcast. And it was also very boring for the people who knew exactly what we were talking about. So I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot again if people think it's a good idea. So let us know what you think in Discord.
Every other Magic podcast is boring the whole time instead of just being boring for 5 minutes. So I think our listeners will forgive us.
I mean, yeah, we'll see. All right, next up, I'm going to continue reading this email. He says, a couple things I think you can improve. First off, I really miss Pick of the Week. It's been like a month since we had one, which my wife appreciates. I spend less money when you guys don't do those. I also miss some of the banter. Now, sometimes the banter goes way overboard and derails the podcast. So finding the happy medium between structure and banter would be great. DJ, you were 12 years old when this email was sent.
Yeah, right.
You weren't allowed to listen to our podcast legally. We have a PG-13 rating. All right.
That means Jason gets one F-bomb for a podcast.
Find the happy medium between structure and banter would be great. Good luck with that.
The banter is the podcast.
I hope to hear more things like set reviews, even though in the past you've emphatically said you hate doing them. Seriously, we had no conspiracy set review this week. Anyway, sorry if it sounds more like criticism than congratulations.
This guy just wants us to do all of the things about the podcast that we hate the most.
In general, I love the way you guys do your thing, but if you incorporate any of my suggestions, that would be cool too. If not, then screw you guys and shut up, Corbin. JK, Rent.
Wow, that was a good email that we definitely should have read 5 years ago. Nice work.
I mean, we did those things. We brought back Pick of the Week. We made it a standing feature of the show.
We do set reviews. We still hate all those things, but we do them.
We do the set reviews. We found ways to do them that are better. We also work on finding a medium between the banter. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we created After Hours, is because all the After Hours used to either just go in the show or go nowhere at all, but usually they went in the show. And we realized that, hey, After Hours means that this content, which is enjoyable, gets to the people who want it. And you get, a slightly more tame version on the podcast. All right, thanks, Rhett. I'm sure you still listen and don't hate us.
That's true.
Read a new email, DJ.
They get one FTV email? If you're going to read just one, we should do this every
We'll do another. No. We'll do another.
All right.
But we're just time skipping back and forth because that makes so much sense.
I just watched a movie where they did that.
Are you telling me Back to the Future is a bunch of bullshit?
I was casually spoiling the game.
It's been a month.
I believe Jason said if you don't know by now, you don't care.
That's how I feel about it.
All right, this email is...
We just lost half our listeners.
I only feel safe making that that joke because Jason did, but I went out of my way because I missed in-game the weekend it came out because I was getting sick in London, but I saw it a week later, but I made sure not to bring it up to Jason in that week in between because I knew he would go, it's been 3 days.
I did spoil Infinity War, and that was an After Hours clip.
All right, DJ, move on.
This email is from April 8th, 2019, 5 years after the one that Corbin just read. It is titled Blocked. And
DJ, April 2018 is 4 years after 2014, my man.
I thought you said the email was 2015. Okay. Well, the email is titled Blocked. And it's from Juan Rodriguez, who sends us like 18 emails an hour, and I have to just like delete almost all of them just to make it seem like he's a rational human being. Hey, Brew Crew, your favorite $10 patron here, writing into the cast today because I can. Also writing in because I think it's funny that Jason hates corn tortillas so much that he blocked me over it. I guess I gotta ask a question if I want this read on air. What do you guys think about Battle Bond Basic Lands? Are they worth setting aside till they're worth more money than a penny a piece that CK offers? Sent from my Prensa de Tortilla, Juan Rodriguez. No, they're just basic lands.
The way... Yeah, they're just basic lands. But I would say this. I like the way that email started. You have to let us know up front that you're a patron. That way we contractually cannot ignore it for quite as long as we would have otherwise.
Yep.
It's a difference between having your email read months late and your email being read 5 years late.
You can make us read your email, but you can't make me read your posts in Discord.
Just tag at everyone. That's what Jason liked.
This next one is, we're going to go a little rapid fire here. This one is from April 16th. It's titled April Package from Brian S. To whom it may concern, I received a package that was sent out on the 6th that was empty. Was this intentional?
Yes. Idiot. We sent out a certain number of empty packages just to remind our listeners. If you get a patron reward, it's 100% because we're being generous. We don't.
Look, some of them got sent out with extras. I sent out fancy cards, expensive cards. I sent out cool stuff with some of them. And I mean, look, it's got to be fair. Some people got to get nothing.
Yeah, man, that's just how it works.
Yeah, I mean, actually, my spot in the assembly line was. Before that, it was putting on the labels, so that was screwed up. And then I just had I had multiple bags.
Wait, so out of all the processes involved in this situation, you were like, I'm gonna be the tape guy.
Yeah, because it was
when you're the boss.
It was allowing me to help the guy who was doing the printing. Plus, I was Scoop the Ashes guy for the first like hour. But anyways, everything that had been named is sent out. So if you don't have it in the next couple weeks, let us know and we'll get it to you.
And sometimes the intern just didn't put your information in the spreadsheet. I mailed glasses to everyone who the spreadsheet told me to. And I had some people like, I'm still waiting on my glasses. I'm like, I sent those 6 weeks ago. So if the intern made a mistake, get at us. And
blame the intern. Next email.
Titled Mystery Package from Ben Casolaro. Brew Crew, $10 patron here, so you have to read this eventually. Let me start off by saying that I'm someone that liked the MTG Finance Central episode. Great guest, great topic. Now on to the two things that I wanted to talk about.
I like that episode too, actually.
I got a package in the mail from you all. It had 2 items in it, a sapling token and a small plastic tube filled with something that looked like sock lint. I was hoping DJ accidentally shipped me his emergency pot stash, but I had no such luck. Was something else supposed to be in there?
Nope.
That's chair ashes, baby.
See
I feel like we talked about that on the podcast like every week for 2 months.
Well, the other thing you could have done was to include a message along with your things, like I did when I sent out the tokens. And there.
Oh, did the message guy in the assembly line accidentally send out
the
every
message was
no
the
message?
the message was the podcast where we said we're sending you this. You gave us money, and because you listened to this show, and now we're going to send you this in return. So then, when you receive said thing,
I'm just saying we didn't get any emails saying like, why did I get tokens? Maybe I included a sheet of paper that said, here's your tokens. Thanks for being a patron.
They would have never figured that one out otherwise. Tokens are basically the same thing as a vial of ashes and rock. But hey, enjoy.
I feel like this has been covered on another BSB cast, but I'll bring it up anyway. Commander, known to many as EDH, continues to be a popular format. You've commented on, and I've noticed even among the small amount of players that I know, that the format is getting faster, overall converted mana cost of deck lists is dropping, and there's an increasing uniformity among deck lists for a given commander. Is it still fair to call it a casual format? Will there be a permanent have and have not between enfranchised and those who got here in the last year or so? Thanks for sticking to the fundamentals and never climbing on the hype train, Ben.
Hey, Ben, thanks for the email.
As long as precons keep coming out, it's still going to be a casual format no matter what. People go to this format because it's not tournament stuff and not super spiky, so...
Yeah, I mean, look, the definition of casual is that you play at your kitchen table, basically, right? And I play Commander twice a week at a friend's kitchen table with my Commander group, and it's one of the things I enjoy most in my week. And we play extremely competitively, but it's still a casual format. Like, we're there to have fun. We're not playing for prizes. We're just hanging out, getting pizza, playing Commander at a friend's house, right? That's what makes it a casual format, and it's what makes it a great format, and it's why it's so popular, and it's literally everything Magic could want. It's multiplayer experience that the game didn't have before. It's just people were playing 60 card casual, which is really 65 card casual or whatever, at kitchen table in groups of 4 before. The fact that Commander came along and just made it possible to play the way you always wanted to play the game has been a huge part of the game's success since it became an official format, and it's only going to continue to get more popular. I think.
I know what he was trying to ask.
Yeah, as far as
he was trying to ask, is it a bulk rare format, which is what Commander's called. It's called the bulk rare format, not the casual.
Right.
Format. It's not a bulk rare format anymore necessarily.
Well, here's what I'm getting to on it though: is that one, you can blame Jason and EDH Rec, but that was always going to happen, right? That's just the market filling a niche that was created. But that does have an effect. I mean, the first thing I do when I decide I want to build a new deck, and I'm looking at building a new red, like a Keranos deck, I went to EDH Rec, and the site's just so perfect. It's like, okay, here's the top cards in Keranos, here's the top cards in these different ways you can play Keranos, choose the one you want, and it's just so easy to just go there and build your list that way. So with more people playing too, it's just going to get more homogenized and more powerful. But the important part with people being able to keep up is one of the things we've complained about is that it's becoming more homogenized and they print new powerful cards every year that are just broken. But the reality is that's It's both leading to making Commander more powerful and faster, but also making the game more accessible to people. Because if they're printing new broken cards that you can buy in an unlimited run pre-con when it comes out, then you're not spending $25 on a card from 1998. So it's weird, but like they had the design space. If you look at where Commander started when they realized it existed, they had the design space to solve a problem of the have and have-nots, where only the people with old, expensive, powerful cards can do well in it. But that also, the only way they could do that within the mechanics of the game, basically, was to make more powerful cards that just naturally replace them. And that's what they did. And that's basically where we're at now. So, obviously, anyone who comes in the past year or whatever is going to be behind, but you can get the pre-cons are good. And based on, what we've heard from Gavin on this podcast and other feedback on the 2018 product, that we might see a little more this year. So I think that basically it takes a year to get into Commander, but the pre-cons are a good enough starting point that you'll be okay. So I think they've actually hit the perfect balance, is what I'm saying.
Next question, or Jason, did you want to hit on that at all? Or
nope.
Okay.
Because Corbin talked for like an hour, and I think we should move on.
Yep, me too.
You can cut some of that, JJ.
Question about jank-centered content creators from Joseph Kyle. Hey, Brew Crew. This question might be a little taboo. If so, I'm sure you can somehow spin it into a Patreon pitch. I often think about this as you all make small comments about content creators making card spike. We don't often name names, but isn't the existence of jank content creators in bulk rare build-arounds, which may or may not cause temporary price surges, a positive thing for the finance community and the MTG community as a whole? Just clarifying, as I feel you've heard many groans and many complaints about this phenomenon from you. Also, this is right before war. The Spark comes out, and I want to spec on the new RAL. Wish me luck. Joey K, who wishes he could be as cool as Joey D, sent from an incognito browser on my mom's laptop.
Nice.
I don't think it's good or bad. I think it's just a thing that happens.
Really? I think it's great. I mean, I can't imagine why I would have that opinion on this, but
I mean, I like it a lot just because when people build around like Zinder Split and Oaken and Legacy or whatever and make like a small little video that happens to get 10,000 YouTube videos, then I sell a bunch of garbage cards. So I'm happy with that.
But like people see like, oh, Kirk's thumb is $11. Fucking speculators, when in reality it was everybody that watched that video and ran out and bought them before I even knew it was a thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
so, like, I don't like the heat that we get for stuff that's not our fault. So like that's why I'm kind of neutral about it. Well, because I sell the cards and make money, but also I have to hear people blame me for stuff they did.
Yeah, I think that the resentment basically that you would hear from us on the subject comes from the fact that we get blamed for it, and I say they, I mean, people who put out that kind of content and spike cards that way, the community sees it as more pure than something else. So the resentment that the hate is sort of one-sided, I think is what you're hearing, more so than a disdain for those people. Yes. You know, that's I think the important thing to understand.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go back to From the Vault email. Find one. All right, here we go. Oh, no, I've already read that one. Oh, no. We're running out, you guys.
There's 5 years worth.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, we've got one here from March 26, 2015. This one comes to us from Elizabeth G. It says, Hey, Brew Crew. I was wondering how seriously you take the gold star seller mark on TCG. I recently wanted to buy a card and none of the sellers for the condition I want were major stores, with 3 of the sellers only having 100 sales and the other 2 only having 3,000. While they all had 99.5% feedback or higher, the small sample size has me worried, but 2 of the stores had the gold star. As people who buy and sell a lot, does the gold star carry much weight with you, even if it is a small store? Elizabeth. Well, I have a feeling this question probably got obsoleted when they introduced Direct.
I mean, yeah. Direct was introduced before 2014.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
It debuted in like 2013, I think, 2013 or so.
Well, does the gold star mean anything on TCG Player anymore?
It means that you have X number of transactions completed in the past 90 days, and your feedback rating is above 99 point something. It just basically means that you are an active seller, that you have a moderate amount of volume. I mean, like, I'm a gold star seller. It doesn't take that many. It doesn't take like Star City or Channel or Cool Stuff levels of transactions to attain that rank. I don't really think it makes a difference when I'm purchasing a card, just because the TCG guarantee or any sort of platform's guarantee of like, no matter what happens when you order a card, even if they have like zero feedback ever and it's their first sale, you know that you just have a safe point of getting your money back. So like the worst that can happen is that you get your money back. So I'm never really concerned about that point. But I do think that there are some number of people who utilize that filter on the sidebar. So like, if you are a seller, I think it's more important. If you're trying to open your marketplace to just a wider number of customers and make sure you have a higher reach, I think that's a good goal to attain. If you are just like a person who buys and sells cards as a side hustle, I think it's a good goal to reach because it will increase your volume a little bit. But I don't really think it makes a difference when you're buying cards. Like I don't use the gold star filter when I'm buying 30 or 40 of a card I think might go up eventually. I just try to find the cheapest copies.
I like that you brought this. I guess I knew it was a thing, but I never really thought about it or knew what the criteria was. But I went and checked my store, Storm Brew Games, on TCG Player. 100% positive feedback. Gold star seller. We did it.
Yeah, I think it's like 100 transactions in 30 days. It might not be that. I actually don't remember just because I got the gold star feedback like years ago. But I mean, it's not a super high benchmark to hit. But I do think
that's 3 sales a day.
Yeah, I do think
you don't mess up.
I do think there are some number of people who utilize that filter. Cool.
All right. Next email, DJ.
Next email is titled "I send questions here" with a question mark. From Nicodemus Martinez. Where's the best place to move store credit of large stores like Card Kingdom? Also, what's the process like? Is it just a matter of giving over the account info or question mark? Most sincerely, Nicodemus Martinez. Do people still do the sent from my whatever.bit? Yes, they do.
So the question
is, how do you, like, what is the best place to move store credit? Or like, how do you move store credit around? Like, the answer to this is that it depends on the store. So Star City, you can actually just like buy or sell store credit. You can like transfer store credit between accounts. You can say like, hey, I need to move X amount of store credit from this account to this account, or I need to, or you can get it on like a gift card and then like give the gift card to somebody else. Card Kingdom, actually, you can't do that. You cannot transfer store credit between accounts. So you can't like buy list a cart to Card Kingdom for $800 in credit and then like sell that credit to somebody else for 80%. You can't do that.
Sure.
You can do that on Star City. I have never tried it on Channel or Cool Stuff or any other website like that, but I just know Star City is the big one that lets you do that. So the process is just like, for Star City anyway, is just like going through their email and being like, I need to transfer this to this, or just buying a gift card and having them send it to you.
That's interesting. I didn't know you could do that, actually.
Yeah, because a lot of the winners of the SCG Opens will choose to get their compensation in credit, and then they'll sell it for a slightly higher percentage than what they would have gotten in cash. So
that's pretty cool, actually.
It's sort of like an everyone wins situation, kind of like the Judge thing, where it's like, I'll get boxes and then sell the boxes for slightly more.
Right.
It's like I can get 75 cash or 110 Star City credit. I guess I'll get 110 Star City credit and sell for 90. That kind of thing.
That's pretty sweet, actually. That's pretty cool. All right, give us. We probably got one or two more here.
This one was sent 10 days ago, so it is more recent than most. SDCC 2018. Hey guys, unfortunately I was not lucky enough to get this year's Mythic Edition. My order never went through, so I won't get this stupid apology. items.
Oh, that's the worst. Sorry, man.
But
that feels bad.
I was lucky enough to get the SDCC 2018 Walker set. I love the art so much, but unfortunately I like playing more and I don't use these. I've decided to turn them into a partial underground sea or volcanic island. I've been looking at prices of older SDCC promos and noticed they are considerably more expensive even though they aren't as nice. Should I wait to trade or sell this for a while, or will duels go up proportionally and make it a waste of time? Also, the wavecast was super fun. Your wives seem hilarious as screwed up as you guys are. Keep up the good work. Set for my self-aware Google Pixel 3 while watching toddlers attempt gymnastics. P.S. Don't dox me, bro. I didn't even say your name because I saw that part, so I was like, not even putting the initials out there, not even.
That was a good. I enjoyed the last part of that so much I forgot what the question was.
SDCC 2018, the Therese Nielsen set.
Oh, that's a bag of worms. That's okay. It's a can of worms.
Well, I mean, they're not really asking about the.
I know, but it does impact the value of them, right?
Not really.
Okay, let's go with that then.
I don't think that topic.
I'll take the duels.
I don't think that topic or that controversy impacts this price of the product at all. Most Magic players don't even care or are aware of that, I think.
For now,
I saw as many people doubling down and be like, "Well, I'm going to support it."
I mean, all that aside, the product buy lists for around 200 or so. So I would just like try to sell them at market price and then turn it into a partial underground sea or volcanic.
Yeah, I take the duel for sure.
One of the main reasons that the older SDCCs are more expensive is because they were either blacked out or because they were much harder to find. As the product gets more demand, they tend to print it more to demand over the course of like 5 years, because this is like the 5th year that they did it.
Well, it's like anything in Magic, but really this whole market that Magic kind of innovated is that you just make it really rare. And that's how they knew what they were doing the first year or two when they showed up with 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 or however many copies they had to give out, and they didn't sell them online. They knew what they were doing. They knew they were going to create a super high demand item, and they did. And then they did that, and it's cool. But of course, that means everyone's now paying attention to it, and then you turn that into an opportunity to sell it to them, which is, that's basically the process you've seen it go through. Same thing they've been doing with the Mythic editions.
Yeah, I mean, like
it makes sense.
Look at the From the Vault prices over the course of a decade. Yeah. That's what they did. It's like the game gets bigger, they print more. The game gets bigger, they print more, and then it's not.
It just runs
exciting.
It just runs its like each product line has a life cycle basically, and they get to just really cash in on it late, right? It's interesting to see how Mythic Edition is going to play out, right? Are we going to have Mythic Editions 5-10 years from now for every set still? Are there just going to be 30 different versions of Jace the Mind Sculptor? Like, where is it going? Or is it going to be like Masterpieces where they give it a run for a while and then decide, yep, that pretty much ran its course.
Yep. Interesting fact, there are fewer Masterpiece Mythic Edition than Black Lotuses in existence. I mean, it's true. It's like literally...
That's just a cool stat.
It's just people that don't think about those actual raw numbers because we don't often have raw data points to base print runs off of. But there's 11k unlimited Lotuses in existence alone, unlimited, and there's 12k Mythic Editions, so not even considering CE, IE, Beta, or Alpha for Lotuses. Like, there are fewer Masterpiece Mythic Editions than there are Black Lotuses.
That's a nice stat, DJ. I like that.
Next up is titled Unlimited Printing from Andrew Mojeski. Hey Brooker, everyone knows that standard sets continue to print up for a year after the set comes out. Does this apply to foreign print runs? If so, will there be a restock or oversupply of Japanese War of the Spark a few months from now, crashing the alt art prices? If not, any advice to when to buy the alt art cards? Sent from a slot machine in Reno, Drew.
To my knowledge, yes, they are printed to demand as well.
Yes.
But I don't think the new supply would crash.
Well, these are going to be in standard showdown packs.
Yeah,
they made an announcement.
I don't think the price on those is going to stay where it's at.
No, it's all just like scarcity right now.
Yeah, War of the Spark. Yeah. War of the Spark seems to be on par or better than Dominaria, which was the best-selling set in the game's history, I believe, or fastest-selling. However they measure those things.
Yep.
But we had more people. Anecdotally, we ran into the same issues we did at my store at both stores. We ran out of product again, just like Dominaria. Literally sold out, maxed out our order with both distributors. Distributors cannot get us anymore. Entire stores around the city are sold out. Boxes are going for $150. I've seen people asking. Like, it's just crazy. The set is just blowing up, and that's carrying over to the Japanese mythic or whatever, the Japanese special walkers. So, you know, look, if you want them, if you want the mythic edition ones, just wait 6 months.
Yes, absolutely wait if you're willing to take that just time to.
I want the bolus, but I want the bolus, but I'm gonna wait.
Another interesting little bit of fallout from this that negatively impacts War of the Spark will be the oversaturation of Japanese cards that are not these alternate art walkers. Because I know at Madison there were a lot of binders I looked through, and there's a lot of Japanese cards in there that I just don't want. It's like, I don't want your Japanese Gideon Blackblade. I don't want your Japanese God Eternals. I don't want your Japanese non-alternate art Planeswalker. So, like, there's a lot of cards that will just be, like, oversaturated and a lot cheaper as a result of that. So, I mean, if you are somebody that wants to buy standard cards for a lot less, then you will be most likely be able to look at the Japanese non-alternate art versions of these cards and be able to get them for a lot less, as long as you're okay with not getting that money back out of them. So, I mean, like, if you're like, I don't want to pay $20 for Gideon, then pay $15 for the Japanese one.
What do you think about buying those boxes? You know, if people can buy a box of Japanese,
or for cracking, or what?
Yeah, for flipping. Like, if they're like, so that's the things people don't understand with the boxes is that, yeah, if you open, you know, in the past it would be like, say, Russian cons or whatever, right? Yeah, if you get the really expensive card, you made a ton of money, but it's not the floor is also much lower because your Japanese cards, just no one wants them. If somebody's selling me a Japanese card when I'm buying it for the store, one, I'll only buy it if it's a card I know that's like staple enough that we will sell. But I just pay way less on it because it's so much harder to move. Hey, don't do that to yourself. I saw people who bought a bunch of the Japanese commander decks a while back, I don't even know what the deal was, but it feels like it all came from one set, like 1 year's of set. And I just see these Japanese commander cards pop up all the time, and they're just so useless for the most part.
Yeah, those ones are casual cards are even worse. The more words a card has on it, the worse it is to own in non-English.
Yeah,
that's true. Right. Like, you don't want Japanese Sword Markov. You don't want Japanese Planeswalkers. They're just very hard to move because they're not legible to 3/4 of your playgroup if you're playing with people who aren't as experienced as you. So, I mean, like, the Japanese alt-art walkers are very cool right now, yes, but I mean, you can wait 6 months and they'll be a lot cheaper because there's just such an oversaturation eventually.
Yep. Japanese is good for any card you could print textless because it's a staple in, like, Legacy. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Cryptic Command had more text on it than like a lot of EDH cards, but guess what? Everybody knew what Cryptic Command was because they played it every round at FNM.
Yeah.
That wasn't the greatest idea, but still, like, you know,
I actually,
it. But like, Japanese walkers might as well be textless for, you know, for a lot of the West, and you're not going to want to play that in EDH. And Planeswalkers are primarily played in EDH, with the exception of like the 2 or 3 that are good outside of that. So
right.
I would stay away from stuff that people can't read because it does not move as briskly.
All right, let's knock out pick of the week before we get out of here this week.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
I got a card.
Go ahead.
All right, this has been printed several times, but it's above $15 on TCG Player, and it's nearing 20 on Card Kingdom, despite being reprinted as recently as the Cat deck in 2017. This is, of course, Mirari's Wake, a card that says, hey, whenever you tap a land for mana, add an additional mana to your mana pool of any type that land produced. This is getting a little bit more play lately because people are jamming it in the new Niv Mizzet deck, which is 5 colors. This doubles your mana and makes you go fast. And
what's crazy to me about this card is that it's at an all-time high, despite the reprint. Like,
well, it went down to 10 when it was reprinted, which is still like pretty expensive for a card that was in an EDH precon. Like, $10 seems nuts. I don't know. I didn't think there was much to like in that Erebos deck. There was like Miri and like this. So
and then the
card's actually been printed a bunch. For
the cat deck is also still like a gold mine for casual cards. It's got the Hammer of Nazan. It's got the Mirari's Wake. It's got a lot of good stuff.
Sure, yeah. I mean, this was there was a Pro Tour foil.
Yeah, that's what I want. That I didn't know that
Conspiracy,
existed.
Commander's Arsenal, and Commander 2017. So yeah, there's quite a few printings of Mirari's Wake. People like the new art better than the David Martin Judgment art.
The new art's better.
So I think if people are going to buy it, they're more inclined to buy the 2017 version, or maybe
just buy the Pro Tour promo,
version.
people. It's only $10 more, $15 more.
It's 45 on Card Kingdom versus
wow, sure, it's 30 TCG player $30 on it, so that's the one I want.
Wow, that's a real big disparity.
I mean, it makes sense actually, because Card Kingdom just wouldn't see very many of them.
Yeah, they only have 4 total. They've got 3 EX condition at 38 and 1 at 45. And
yeah, I imagine very few of those get listed to Card Kingdom.
Yeah.
All right, I'll jump in next. I've got a new Phyrexia / Iconic Masters pick here. Shieldred. The card is, I'm not going to say at an all-time high. However, the IMA version is at an all-time high. We've hit the point where the two prices have converged between the old and the new. It's, or we almost hit it rather. It's about $15, $16. But what we're actually seeing is that the card is starting to climb, and the new Phyrexia one is right now $17 on TCG Player, but it's been going up. And the Iconic Masters one is $15 on TCG Player and also going up. So they've almost converged. They obviously started at very different points, but they're both moving up right now. And I really like picking up, it's just one of those cards that got reprinted and it's still expensive at 15, but before you know it, it's going to be 25 again. So it's just PSA, if you're a Shieldred player, now's a good time.
Yep. Mine's not based on any particular commander deck. It's just one of those DJ specials of like, this card's really cheap and it could just blow up if the right card is printed. And with Modern Horizons coming, we might just see some weird wacky combo piece with this that makes it shine again. But Jeskai Ascendancy's a bulk rare, guys.
Yeah, honestly,
Wow.
I've played that deck a few times. That deck is actually good.
And it's a 4 of in that, or 3 or 4 of in that deck.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a deck before. It was a deck back when Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise were legal, so you had a lot more search power to filter through your deck and find your engines. But I mean, the card itself is still legal. We still have Sylvan Caryatid, and we still have Manadorix, and you can still...
Well, more importantly, you got Paradise Druid, I believe is the card.
Well, that one,
when
you fiddle with it,
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
but it's possible that you still played in the deck because the deck still played Manadorix 4. So just, additional hexproof, and you can also make it hexproof again by casting a spell in response.
Yes.
Untap it. So it might be good enough is what I'm saying. That's probably not enough to, push it the way you're talking, but sometimes a deck picks up a card or two and you don't notice it, and then something happens and you're like, what happened? But in reality, there's 3 new cards. So I'm just saying that could be an upgrade.
But I mean,
that gets you going.
Yeah, as long as Manamorphose is legal, I think this could just easily just find one more card, and then we're like, oh, Jeskai Ascendancy combo's a thing again, and then it goes from 1 to 8, and then you sell them all, and then they ban it again, or then it gets, or the meta shifts again. But this is a very wait on it for a while, have your playset if that's the kind of deck you want to play, or just buy if you find 30 or 40 copies in stock at one store for 20 cents a piece, you go deep, and then you just sit and wait, and then eventually it's like a River Kelpie where you get vindicated one day, and then you ship them all, and then it goes all the way back down, everybody forgets about it, and you made your money.
All right, there you go. Guys, anything else you want to touch on this week before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. President Good Business has gotten into a trade war with China, and it turns out that toys, board games, and dice are included in proposed tariffs from China retaliating.
I'm not even going to say anything about, hey, don't talk politics, because you're right. That is a thing.
So However you feel about
I'll point this
Donald
out
Trump.
though. Look, I'm going to point this out.
Trade wars are easier to win, and they're good. So this is a good trade war.
I'm going to say this because this is specifically relevant to Magic. If we're going to briefly discuss this, one of the reasons that I want to steer clear of the politics of it because this is not how you go about negotiating trade deals. It's just not. But one of the things that is a sticking point in the negotiations is China protecting the IP, the intellectual property rights of U.S. companies. And that sounds really generic or whatever, but what that means is counterfeit Magic cards. If China agrees to harsher protections for American companies, it could mean that the Chinese counterfeits that you occasionally hear are going to kill Magic, or the next run's going to be the best ever, or whatever that people have been saying forever. But it could stop that, and that could be a benefit Magic in the long run. That said, tariffs are such a disastrous idea. There's no telling what's going to happen to the price of Magic packs, the price of Magic cards, right? It's a real thing that might affect businesses like us.
On a more positive note, I thought this is what you were going with, Jason, but
this is a positive thing because he's a good president and he's not backing down. He's strong, good businessman.
Very strong.
Well, we did post about this on Twitter already, but this is the first time we're announcing it on the cast. We have Modern Horizons preview cards.
Yeah,
we have preview cards for Modern Horizons.
We did it.
We have
cards.
Thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for sending us these. 100% free. # not sponsored. All of that stuff. But we have preview cards, and they're going live on May 27th. So we will have a super funny little YouTube thing for everyone to watch. Share it, like it, send it to your mom. Get all those views up there. We are super happy. This is the first time we've had a preview card since Shadows over Innistrad, and they are awesome. They're super cool. Everyone's gonna love them.
We didn't think we'd ever get a preview card again. Here we are. I'm pretty hyped.
Everybody's hype about their preview card, so take it with a grain of salt. But we already know that you're gonna like these.
Yeah, these are
great.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. This is Brainstorm Brewery. We'll see you next week.
Pick of the week. Pick of the week. You guys aren't going to enjoy me. Pick of the week.
We have the song plays.
Yeah, but we don't have a chorus of all of us singing it.
Pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
Pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week. All right, go.